late over there, but let me go ahead. We got enough people coming up in the space. We're gonna go ahead and get things rolling. Freeman, I see Freeman is up in the house as well too. So definitely like to get Freeman whenever he gets a chance to come on up here. Definitely speak on it as well too. I know he stays in the midst of the actual reparation movement, so he's well versed on it as well. So definitely love if Freeman, if he feels the urge to want to come on up here, definitely go ahead and get the microphone and come on up here. Shout out to my people over there in YouTube as well too. They'll be pouring in a little bit. Definitely for the people that do come in YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for all my people over there in YouTube. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the actual channel. What's up, Ray? DJ, what's up, man? Can you hear me up in the space?
Yeah, mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, bro? What's tied up? Share the room, bro.
What's going on? What's up over there, Extreme X? I see what's going on. Shout out to you. So yeah, man, we want to go ahead and get this thing. We're gonna be talking about the because I've been seeing a bunch of spaces going on, like some of the folks in the Pan-African spirit. I see they've been going in definitely a whole lot on Freeman and FBA and reparations and this and that. I see some talk about that people that Black Americans are begging for reparations, begging. I don't think talking about something a debt that's old is begging, but you want to go ahead and say that's begging, and oh well. Like I say, interesting thing that I also found out too in this article from Neo Jim Crow. It's up in the jumbotron. A stat that was in there. It says that 75% of Black Americans think the federal government should pay reparations, including 77% of native-born Black people, compared with 59% of foreign Black people. So we got just a little bit over half of the foreign Black people think that reparations ought to be paid. And you got close to almost 80% of Black people in this country think reparations, and I honestly think that number is a lot higher than that. I think you're in the 80th percentile when you talk about Black people in this country that feel like reparations should actually be paid. I don't think it's even in the high 70s. I think it's a lot higher than that as well too. So, like I say, shout out. And guys, like I say, feel free to come on up here. And if I got to go ahead and use the article from last time, I will definitely go ahead and do that and get a jump started, because I want to get our people to come on up here and speak on the situation as well too. We had a real exchange at the end where we had some people coming up in here. Shout out to New Republic. I know that's Talent. Shout out to Talent as well coming up in here as well too. So I said we got a bunch of we got Negro folks in here. We got Freedmen folks up in here. So that's always good to have a nice mix of the fam up in here as well too. So shout out to both of you guys, two brothers that's well versed in the actual reparation world as well too. So definitely good to have these brothers up in here as well too. So on that note, if nobody wants to actually get it going, then I will definitely go ahead.
I'll say this is what reparations is for Negro Freemen. That is it. You know what I'm saying? FBA, ADOS, anything else other than that, that's just our political affiliations. How we talk with our slang. You know what I mean? What's up, Black person? That's all that is to us. You know what I mean? But these folks that are online, they get this stuff twisted, and they think it's they think it's grown into these little faction cliques, which kind of is that way too. But I think it's okay like that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, some folks is going to do some work, some folks is not. Some folks going to hold it down, some folks is not. But the problem is the ones that ain't really being true to the movement, reparations, they, more or less on the agent and chaos side. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Where it's like, they want to cause and sow division within the community of Black Negroes who are seeking reparations for the, wrong justices done harm to our ancestors and our elders that are living today. Because when I talk to my 90-year-old great aunt, hey, we trying to do this black state thing. She got 50 years on the books at City Hall here in Newark, New Jersey. Hey, we trying to do the black state thing. I ain't never going back down south. Why not? But it's like when you ask them why, it's like a trigger to them, I believe. And it's like they shut down because all the Jim Crow segregation, all this redlining shit they went through, they never going back down to the south. So it's up to us here and those that are younger. Hey, look, we need 1 to 2% of our folks to go flood these black states so we can take over and have state power so we can obtain our reparations thing. So I'll yield there. What's good, right, my brother?
No doubt. What's up, Ray? What's going on? Go ahead. I see that Negro up in the house. Shout out to that Negro as well too. Go ahead, Ray. You got it.
What's going on, everybody? So I'm gonna ask a very logical question. So black immigrants are demanding equal reparations. Are they saying in America, or are they saying in their countries that they're coming from?
They talking about right here in America.
Okay, I want to make sure, because that to me, that just doesn't make any sense. How can you demand reparations if you saw that Black American freedmen were being treated bad, and then you voluntarily came here? You can't come here, get abused and misused, and then complain about it, because again, you voluntarily came here. I'm not understanding the logic. And maybe someone else, maybe there's another angle I'm not seeing, but it's just not making any sense. And I need somebody to make this make sense. I know this is off topic, Newstoter, but I definitely wanted to mention this. There's another strain of COVID that has a 36% fatality rate that's been discovered in Dubai. And I want everyone to know about it so we can be on our P's and Q's about it.
All right, Ray. Thanks for definitely updating us on that right there too. I'm sure when I update the site, I'll see it eventually. So, but thanks for putting that out there. Shout out to my man Dusty Pookie on YouTube as well. You guys over YouTube, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment on the actual broadcast tonight. Shout out to you, Dusty Pookie, aka Nat. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the contribution. But yeah, Ray, getting back to what you were saying. Here's the thing that the Black immigrants are saying. Mind you, based off of the data, is saying that Black immigrants back in the 1980s made up 1% of the actual Black population in America. Now they make up 10%. They're saying now between now and 2060, about a third of the growth in Black population will come from immigration from countries such as Jamaica and Ethiopia, according to the Pew Center for Research. Here's what they're saying. They're saying that, hey, we live here. We may not be descendants of slavery like you guys. We go through the same things. We have to worry about institutional racism. We have to worry about police brutality. We have to worry about discrimination and everything else. So therefore, even though I might be a first or second generation Black immigrant, I'm going through the actual Black struggle the same way as Black Americans. And I also should be afforded reparations just like the rest of the actual Black American chattel-born slavery descendants. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, like I was saying, that doesn't make any sense, because if you see how bad someone is being mistreated, how the hell can you come over here and then demand reparations? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if I can't whoop my ass and then I'll jump in and get my ass whooped and then demand some type of compensation, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not really understanding the logic that they're trying to follow. Because they're saying, oh, we got mistreated. Well, why'd you bring your ass over here then? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's look at it like this, right? It actually does make sense to them, because that's what a grift is. You know what I'm saying? So as long as they say they're Black too, thumb up two fingers up, quote unquote, then they feel they are entitled to it. So when you look at people like Narc and Cobra, they've been on the ground since like the 60s, 70s or whatever, advocating for reparations, but they never had an actual plan. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, what reparations even looks like. That's why I'll be asking y'all this question. What does reparations look like to you? You feel what I'm saying? And then let's talk about the lineage part of it. So California obviously got it right. Shout out to the folks in Cali, AB 3121. So this should be lineage based. So throughout the course of the inception of ADOS, a lot of Blacks have been other bro. You feel what I'm saying? That has been the one thing that these folks do not want to find out, bro. That a lot of folks that you think are Black Negro freedmen are other, bro. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I have no problem saying, hey, yo, I'm a Negro American. I'm American. I ain't no African American. Don't ever call me that. You feel what I'm saying? You know? And I don't mean that in the sense that we don't all hail, that our ancestors don't hail from the continent of Africa. That's true, but the fact of the matter is we've been removed from Africa for over 500 years. So how can you even call yourself that? What tribe and nation are you from in Africa? You can't even go that far back, bro. So in my opinion, anything that happened post Civil War, you from where you from. You feel what I'm saying? Just be logical about that. So after 1865, if your ass happened to have been in Jamaica after the Civil War, your ass Jamaican. Haiti, you American, you just an American, because otherwise we can't be playing this game. We all black or we all pan-African. There's none of this other stuff. When we know damn well, majority of these Africans or folks that are from the diaspora did not largely come here until '85. The Haitians was the first, then came the Jamaicans, bro. So at the end of the day, if you came here in '85, then maybe you could get some form of reparations because of the crack era, but not really, depending on where you came from. Because if we talk Jamaicans, y'all created the shower posse. Y'all brought a lot of drugs and all this other shit up here in the north and to America too. Let's be logical about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sorry, DJ. I disagree with you a little bit because nobody made you smoke that damn crack.
No. Just let me finish real quick. That's why.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's why I'm bringing up the shower posse. You heard of them before?
No.
Shower posse is the Jamaican cartel, bro. They brought some of the most drugs here in this country and killed a lot and went to war with black Americans over dope spots. So should they be entitled to reparations? So there's people that brought this shit up here too, just as well, with the Contras and the war on drugs and all this other stuff. Come on, you had different demographics of Caribbeans bringing dope into the community. Yo.
So you got tethers out here demanding reparations when you're not qualified for them.
Hold on, break the hands.
Yeah. Hold on, raise your hand because we're gonna get to the hands. We're gonna go in that order.
Right. Yeah, just let me add this in really, really quick. If they can come over here,
can you hear me? Just let me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It's okay, bro. So again, I'm agreeing with you. You know what I'm saying? None of them should get anything. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about reparations for our people. So now, with that being said, ever since the Queen died, you got the Jamaicans talking reparations. You got jokers over in Zimbabwe talking about reparations for what America did to them, like in the '90s or something like that. Now, how can these folks even consider getting reparations prior to us getting it? But the one thing I gotta give these people credit for, not even just implying that, they may very well get it before us. Why? Because they understand the fucking code, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just the same way with these other immigrants come up in here, Mexican, whatever how you want to say it. Yeah, we may hate Venezuelans as Mexicans and Puerto Ricans don't like Dominicans, but that don't mean nothing here. We're Latinos here. We're Hispanic here. We're one. We're AAPI. You see what I'm saying? But in our country of origin, we really beef with each other. But when we come here, we over the black man. As long as we stick together, we can get money. While we ain't thinking the same thing. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
I'm just gonna add this in 2 seconds. How if we can't go and ask for reparations and they sold us, how they gonna come over here and ask for reparations? That's all I want to say.
I feel you on that.
Hey, so just to answer that question, it ain't all blacks that's asking for reparations, or black diasporans that's asking for it. It's just specific ones, and it ain't the ones that's in the sold us from West Africa. It's more in the South Sahara Africa. You know what I mean? Zimbabwe, but that's on the map.
All right. We're going to move it around, but Ray, definitely stay up here. And everybody that wants to speak, just go ahead and request a microphone. Raise your hand. Let me go ahead and get to Robbie. Robbie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm going to make it real quick because I know Freeman wants to go. It seems like the argument that they make it reminds me of people that get in a car pileup. And like, as far as Freeman and FBA, we got full coverage and uninsured motorists. You know what I'm saying? Where these cats have liability. You know what I'm saying? And they get pissed because they see we about to get that Ken Nugent check, and they trying to say, "Hey man, but I'm insured." Yeah, but you can get uninsured motorists, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You were being a cheapskate. You went with the cheap shit, and now you about to get that dick in the head. I'm sorry. Let me let my point.
All right. Thank you, Robbie. Let me go ahead and get to Freeman. Freeman, go ahead. You got it.
Peace. What up, Newstoter? White people, DJ.
Hey, Freeman, you pretty low. Can we get you a little bit louder if possible?
I guess if I start yelling, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better before, but you was really. What'd you say, DJ?
Nah, I said megaphone and Freeman. Yeah, you gonna have to yell.
Yeah, you low, brother. Go ahead.
I'll just speak a little bit louder. I'm not trying to yell or anything. But yeah, I read the article. It was some bullshit. I'm kind of questioning the person who wrote the article. They're even trying to imply like, oh, this is splitting the black community when it's not. We've been very clear as the grassroots who this debt is owed to. So simply put, if you're not owed the 40 acres and a mule, you won't be getting a part of our reparations. You'll be getting zero because that debt was never paid. So that debt is still owed. So if it came later, then you're not owed. You're not a part of this reparation. And they kind of admitted that. If you ask me, they're saying, well, we're not American freedmen. We're not descendants of slaves, but we still deal with the same thing. No, you don't. No, you don't. And our harm goes back a lot further than you, and you chose to come over here. We didn't. So you're trying to put yourself in the same category as us when in actuality you're agreeing that you're not the same. And it's very interesting how whenever it's time for the benefits, that's when they want to be like us. Prior to this conversation, into the reparations movement, they had no problem separating from us and saying, well, there is no racism. I didn't know I was black. My family is doing good. Why y'all so lazy? But now that we got the reparations movement coming along strong, now they're trying to integrate themselves into everything that we're going to be getting, which is regular shit for them. And sadly, I think that's become the norm. But now that we're putting the gate up, they have a problem with that, but it's not our problem. So salute to the Boston Freeman. The Freeman is all over this article, so they're doing good work out there. And salute to the Freeman all over. I appreciate them, and let's keep going. Let's keep delineating. Let's keep disaggregating. And these people are going to be very, very upset. And I think Newstoter might be right. Maybe as far as the general consensus, maybe it might be in the mid 80s or high 80s as far as the black people who do support reparations. So thank you for the time, and I landed right there. And I love that analogy by you, Robin.
All right, Freeman, you're right. In that article, like you had the Freeman they were deep up in that article. You had sisters up in there, you had some brothers up in there as well, fighting for the actual reparations up there in Boston as well. So the Freeman, they were definitely doing their thing up there in Boston. They're trying to hold it down as well, too. So the Freeman are definitely nationwide, and they're trying to hold it down. So shout out to the sister, because like I said, the sister, she was very vocal up in that article, and so was the brother as well, too. So they were definitely making their presence felt on the reparation thing. I'll be the first to say that I believe reparations for black people all throughout the world is due. But here in America, reparations for the descendants of chattel slavery is what's up. That's what's up. In the Caribbean, I have no problem supporting the brothers and sisters over there in the Caribbean, getting their reparations from Great Britain, and France, and Spain, and any other colonial power that held them slaves over there. I have no issue with the brothers and sisters over there in Africa, from their colonial masters getting theirs as well too. But I think that same energy should be reciprocated right over here in America as well too. We stand by you and your reparations claim. You should do the exact same thing here. We're not going to try to shoehorn and pigeon in on your stuff. So you should exactly do the same thing for us as well too. That's what real solidarity looks like. If you're talking about having a solidarity, you talk about being able to connect one day and to work together and bridge across all the different things in the world, and you need to go ahead and do that. So stand by us and our claim over here, because we have the ultimate claim, and there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're sitting up here, we have gone through the slavery, the Jim Crow, the redlining, the civil rights movement. We've gone through it all. So we are the ones that'll do this right here. And you should sit up here as black folks and say, you know what? We support these brothers and sisters. We want to see them go ahead and get it. And I think it will also strengthen our claim worldwide as well, too. Let me go ahead. And I'm sorry if I missed the order, but I believe it's Smiley and then Talent next. If I missed the order, guys, I'm sorry. But Smiley, go ahead. Well, Smiley looks like he's disconnecting. Talent, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace and love. Shout out to you. Shout out to Space. Shout out to DJ co-host.
Immigrants, I'm sorry. I can't hear anything he's saying.
Okay, that's you, Talent, speaking?
Yeah, y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Prom, that was me, Prom, but I just wanted to say one last thing. The immigrants, they immigrated away from their reparations, so they don't get out. I lay right there. I grab my plane, peace. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Talent. You got it.
Man, peace and love. Like I said, shit out to the space, man. It's a dope conversation. About to get going.
it's weird when we look at two different conversations that's happening from the Pan Africans and the Black Caribbeans, right? The Pan Africans conversation is they want to give reparations to everybody black in the United States, and they bring up this whole intra-American slave trade, everything that was happening during colonial times, and the fact that we all just landed in this country. So they just believe that those who are entitled, no matter at what point in time they came here, should get reparations. But then the Black Caribbean conversation is interesting because we talk about people who in mass were not even 1%, up until 1965, maybe under, and represent 10% now. And how if we're talking about reparations based on actual harm, how is it that they are claiming that they have a harm when we actually look at the data that their average median income is more than ours, right? And that's weird because we looking at it based on harms, the debt that is owed, and we are able to actualize that based on our income, owning less than 0.5%. Looking at our wealth going to be, at net zero by 2053, and these are the conversations that are being had. So if we do it and then look at them and we see that their median income, and one of the articles said that I think they make even $15,000 to $20,000 more than our median income, then how are they proving that they've been harmed to even justify a claim for reparations when one of the fundamental aspects of this is the economic impact that these predatory policies and this economic exclusion has been based upon the American Negro. So I think that it kind of writes itself out, even in the article that I was reading. I read a few of them. Then I think that there's a conversation that is being missed, which is the CARICOM movement that's happening with the British heirs of slavery, which is like these European aristocrats movement connecting and making calls to King Charles about their role in slavery and the colonies that Britain had in the Caribbean, and how did they look to pay restitution to those people. So that same Pan-African argument could be applied to us and say, well, we deserve reparations from 1619 to 1776 before the American Revolution. If you guys are talking about everybody should get reparations, but they don't include us in that conversation of the intra-American slave trade and people that was being sent back and forth from those islands into the continent. So I see that that's one element in there that's off, but also the individuals on the Caribbean who just got here side, they don't really talk about the role that they're playing in the CARICOM movement as well. And if they're going to be included in that claim, how are they trying to include themselves in our claim when we are talking about two specific claims for two different people and there's history to back it? So I just think that a lot of this is more about us delineating and the effects that is going to have in the overall landscape of blackness, people of color, the policies, because now there's a chain effect and a chain reaction happening, because the further we delineate outside and inside of our claims of reparations, but just in general, we're going to start to see that individuals have been tethering themselves to our claims, like we see with the affirmative action situation. We see like there's a backlash, and a lot of Caribbeans and Black Africans were speaking out against it, and we over here celebrating it because we know people have been pulling themselves and kind of like blacking themselves into the things that are specifically for us. So I think it's bigger than reparations, because we know reparations is a long-term fight that we have a lot of stake in right now, but I think it's literally about the landscape of the Black identity in America. And the moment you start to delineate those who are foundationally from this land, who come from chattel slavery, and we become a separate box, we're going to see how other people have been finding ways into that by way of blackness, and always trying to relegate their experience to police brutality, as if that's the measure to our persecution in this country. Police brutality is not your gateway into blackness. There's many exclusionary policies and a long history of how racism has played on multiple levels to be a part of what we consider that specific class and that specific people who are owed reparations. So we are going to see we're seeing a reaction and a response, I want to land here, of the reality of us literally deviating out of the black reality that we've existed in for maybe the last 40 or 50 years, and how there's policies connected to us that a lot of people have been able to benefit to our demise. And now reparations is one of those things that's literally going to start changing the landscape of delineation.
All right. Thank you, Talent. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to and Talent, let me to what you were talking about the actual you were talking about the actual income. Let me real quick. It says black immigrant households have a higher median income, $57,200 than US born black households, $42,000, but one lower than other migrant led households, according to the Pew report. In Boston, the median net worth for non immigrant black families in the Boston area was $8 compared to $12,000 for Caribbean black families, according to a 2015 study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. So you can see the actual income, and you can see the actual savings that a lot of the actual, they were talking about the Caribbean families had in comparison to the non-immigrant black families up there in the Boston area as well. You're talking about $8 compared to $12,000. That's a huge difference right there. Let me go ahead and get to Stephanie. Stephanie, how you doing tonight?
Hello, sir. How are you? How's the entire room? I just want to say that it's very tribal. It's just giving off tribal vibes, and it's more like bullying. It's like, hey, we're better than you. We're better than you. You guys are nothing. You guys are lazy. You guys been here for 400 years and still haven't done anything. A lot of these countries have been a country for 35, 40 years, and you still haven't developed anything yet. So that's like the pot calling the kettle black. And I'm just sick of people just trying to worm their way into what we worked for or what we're fighting for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to touch on what DJ was saying about the shower posse. I think it was either the shower posse or the Gullah posse. Correct me if I'm wrong, DJ. Wasn't they killing black Americans in Queens because they didn't want Yankees living in their neighborhood?
Let's talk about it. Let's go.
They were killing black Americans in our own neighborhood, and we were the first ones to gentrify Queens because the Italians and the Irish and the Jews didn't want us living there. And they moved in, and they started killing a couple of family members of black American families, talking about they didn't want Yankees in their neighborhood. So I don't understand what the problem is when it comes to these people. They're so freaking competitive when it comes to us. I don't understand that. The only thing we try to do is live and make a better way and a better life for our families. That's it. No, I'm not against anybody getting reparations. I just want us to win for a change. We do win, but it's just that every time we win, everybody else is. And I'm getting tired of it. And we got to stay on the same path because it's actually working. Because people are becoming more and more frustrated. They're becoming more and more frustrated with us. We can't keep breaking down and saying, okay, let's just include everybody else then because we don't want that problem. No, we got to take the bruises so we can get what we have to get and move on and move forward and start rebuilding our nations and start having our babies again. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to leave it at that. No, they don't deserve our reparations. There was an article in the paper today. This Indian guy's talking about he's not paying for something that happened 150 years ago. Like, who said you won't pay for anything? And the only reason why these Indians is getting into our politics now is because they trying to bring a caste system in the United States. Everybody knows what they're trying to do. This is why they keep attacking us. This is why the Jews keep attacking us. This is why the Hispanics are attacking us. This is why the Caribbeans, the Africans are attacking us too. I'm not saying all of them, but it's just too many to count. And this is why we got to stay the course and we got to keep fighting, keep taking our bruises. And we just understand that we are truly the only people that we have and stop fighting against each other and just push forward towards this reparations. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. DJ, I know you had your hand up. You want to say something?
What did I want to say? We all cooking on the same points or whatever the case be. I just think what it is with this situation that's going on is like, these folks when like Tether Rounds, when he say, hey, Americans ain't got no culture. Well, who you specifically referring to, sir? Because you never actually said that to this day. Like, white folks ain't got no culture. So are you saying all Americans, or you just saying a specific demographics? So at the end of the day, that don't make no sense, Fat Joe. You know, Ricans don't have no history in America, or what y'all call the mainland. I'll be going in on these Ricans. I got a lot of Rican homies. I stay put, applying pressure on them. Hey, yo, y'all say y'all black and y'all can say N-word and all this other stuff. Hey, well, look, y'all gonna have to mute your mic on a lot of stuff because y'all ain't got no history in the mainland. Y'all ain't got no history in. You know what I'm saying? So why do they feel that they're included in reparations, or saying we created 50% of hip hop and all this other stuff? Y'all don't got no history here, man. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Japanese and the Chinese. Y'all got no history here. Y'all might have went through some internment camp stuff, but you know, that is either one or two things. You was a POW, or America was just being prejudiced, but y'all got reparations for that. So it's like, why is it that now we're advocating for our reparations? Yeah, you, like Stephanie said, you got the Tether Indians, like back Reverend Swami, who over there getting black people like Don Lemon fired from his job for sticking up for his own people. Who are these people? You feel what I'm saying? And now the white folks, they're suffering from allowing too many of these Tether gangs to come up into the country. So hold your own nuts, white folks. Everybody got to hold their own nuts. Affirmative action over with, right? You know what I'm saying? So like Stephanie said, we got to stay the course and stay on point, because if not, we're going to be talking about reparations for the next 100 years. You know what I mean? We got to get our money now, because I know you're struggling. I'm struggling. Everybody's struggling. I'll be out on the block. Nick Rose is struggling out there, man. So I need my money, man.
Can I add something else before you go, Newstoter?
Go ahead.
Okay, and I also wanted to say that being that they were talking about you read about the household medium incomes.
Yeah.
Have anybody ever discussed why it's that way? Because a lot of Black Americans are being discriminated against on these jobs. They've done the jobs report, and a lot of these companies are still not hiring Black Americans. Now, the large majority of the people that are in human resources and all these higher positions are not us. They're other. They're the gatekeepers for white supremacy. And they're going to do everything in their power to block us out, to make sure we don't get in these type of jobs. If you look at the hospitals, who's the majority of the workers that's in these hospitals? Okay? I mean, Talent should know he's in New York. DJ should know he's in Jersey. There's a lot of folks that's not us that's in these hospitals, and they discriminate against the Black Americans. A lot of these positions they hold, they're blocking out Black Americans, and they're bringing their own folks in. And they are keeping us out of a lot of positions. And this is what we really need to be addressing as well. So, you know, my would-have-been husband, his aunt, she just retired from the hospital. She was working in Florida because she said it was so bad at how she was being treated. So she wanted to retire. So that's another issue that needs to be brought up and be addressed as well. And I'm going to just land right there on that.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Real quick, let me tell everybody over there in YouTube land, thank you guys. Shout out, Brooke. I see you made it up in the over there in the YouTube land as well, too, guys. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like, share the actual content for the night. Leave a comment as well, too. So shout out to all my people over there in YouTube as well. Definitely for those that's up in the space, if you guys have not had a chance, make sure you go ahead and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's up in the Jumbotron. It is up in the Jumbotron. It is in the actual middle. So if you have not subscribed to the Newstoter YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe while the actual space is going. You can click up in the Jumbotron. It is right in the middle of the actual Jumbotron. Click on it, and you can actually subscribe while the actual space is going. Also, for those that want to support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. We have Venmo and PayPal for those that do not have a Cash App as well, too. Also, Newstoter also is on Twitter, and we have our subscription. So for $3 a month. So if you want to support us that way, you can become a Newstoter supporter for just $3 a month on Twitter. That's, once again, $3 a month on Twitter. Also, if you guys have not been to the website, newstoter.com, make sure you go ahead and check out newstoter.com. Make that a daily habit. Go ahead and bookmark the site, and just go periodically from any time during the day for maybe a couple minutes, and just go ahead and sightsee and see exactly what's on the site. You'll see the amount of content that's out there, Black news and everything else. We stay up to date on what's going on in Black America. So definitely make sure you visit newstoter.com daily to stay informed and up to date with what's going on in Black America today. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black media curation platform today in America. Go ahead, Talent, you got it.
I wanted to echo what Stephanie just said, because last year me and my family had like a little family emergency, so we had to go to the hospital, and we heavy on Negro, like, and I mean like writing it down on paper, delineating. We want to be specific so everybody know who we are in the emergency, everything. And it was like sobering to realize that so many people in the front lines. I'm in the city, in New York City, heavy. That so many people on the front lines are not us, and that is very scary when you know how we are handled in these hospitals. Like, we had a home birth and all that. So imagine when there's emergencies, when you really got to deal with these people. And the moment you get there, you're dealing with people who English is not their first language, one. And another thing, they are not our people. They're not Black American, they're not us. And I just saw, I wouldn't call it resent. It wasn't like resent or resistance. It's just a difference. It's just, like, there's a difference in culture and understanding. And from the police front lines, the EMT, the people that answer like the emergency calls, down to the medical people, especially in an emergency room, it's areas like that are very dangerous when we know how we are mistreated and mishandled in these hospitals. And I have my fiance heavy Negro, heavy anti-hospitals. So when we go into these places doing stuff with our daughter, we gotta do before we had at home. It was a lot of concern that we had with just the cultural barriers of not being able to be in places where our people are there for care and for help. And that is one of those things that lead to a lot of these issues. Wasn't there like a story that just went out viral where a woman was saying that she wants to like go into the emergency room, into the hospital with a camera on? A lot of this stuff is predicated on even just the entry front line aspect of when you go to an emergency room, or if you go to your local physician, like, who's filling out the paperwork with you? Like, these are not our people, and that also is one of the reasons why negligence happens, harms happens, because we just don't have that representation, and that also adds to this economic disparity that we're facing. So if they're being and here's this, and it's another thing. There's also the cheat codes, right? It's people out here who going back to the islands to get like these medical certificates and then this nursing stuff, and then they come back out here. All they got to do is take the state exam. You feel me? They going like literally going out there to bypass some of the restrictions, and then when they come here, as long as they take the state test and pass the state test, now they have a nursing, some type of nursing certificate. But again, these aren't reflective of our people. So there's definitely a danger there, because we've seen it front end. It's just they're not us, man. They don't understand. And when you're dealing with your health, and then now you got to realize that these people are taking in and filling in a lot of these positions that have our able-bodied and ready, American Negro people, Black American people ready to do. We see that economic disadvantage that we have when they're looking and being specific about who they're putting in. Home health aides, nurses, anybody in New York, that's heavy Caribbean, right? And then on a higher level, the doctors that come from the continent in that brain drain. So it's like, where is the space for us? And also we see like the fact that there isn't that representation there while we be going through what we be going through, and while these mortality rates upon our women are hard, while we're not really getting service the way we need to, because we're not dealing with our own people, even in the moments of danger and harm that we need that help. So I just wanted to echo what she said, because it's serious out here, serious.
All right. Thank you, Talent. Tomorrow night, guys, a space. We're going to be doing a space on the actual They Clone Tyrone movie. That's going to be a review. We're going to do that on that. And we're going to also talk about the actual Emmett Till monument that Joe Biden and them are talking about creating at the same church that had Emmett Till's body viewing when he was murdered. The actual church where the viewing of his body took place. So yeah, tomorrow night we're going to be talking about the the They Clone Tyrone review, and all of the actual things that movie actually pertains to in terms of the Black community as well too, because that movie had a lot of different things that you could connect with what's going on today in Black America. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So you guys make sure you come in for that. And we're going to also be talking about the actual Emmett Till monument that all of a sudden they want to go ahead and create. But they couldn't go ahead and get justice for Emmett Till. So definitely make sure you guys catch up with us tomorrow for that space as well too. So we will definitely be going in on that tomorrow. Queen B, how you doing?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, DJ.
What's
Thanks.
up, my
Hey,
man?
what's up?
I'm doing good. It's been a while. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the discussion tonight. So to speak to the title of the room, Black Immigrants Demand Equal Reparations, I really believe these people do not want reparations, and give me just a second to explain why I feel that way. I believe this is more just about preventing us from getting reparations. How long has HR 40 been sitting in Congress? And we know that it's just a study. We know that it's, we know that it's not a good bill, but it was what they put forth, right? Under the leadership of Sheila Jackson Lee and Representative John Conyers. And I believe that it also would have given NARC and Cobra money. They were asking for money so that they could, conduct research or whatever, right? They wanted to lead these efforts. So they called themselves being the leaders on this pan-African style reparations. And I just believe if they really wanted this, why was there no action to get any of these things accomplished? It wasn't until we came in, and I would say, I know reparations has been, there have been efforts throughout the century, to try to get us reparations. And I believe the movement was stalled until social media started it back up again. And I'm looking at another generation of people coming in, and they're really going full throttle with this. And I believe that these immigrants are just, jealous for one. Like, if we can't have it, then you all ain't going to have it. So this whole thing is about just preventing us from getting it. And now when the Supreme Court came out with their ruling and they talked about no more race-based, and they're continuing to push this and push this and push this, and knowing that this cannot be race-based. So they keep doing these things. And again, I just believe they are doing it because they just do not want us to get what is rightfully ours. We are the ones that have the rightful claim. They know they don't have the rightful claim. And for them to come in now and to just continue to do this, to me, is just, again, them trying to prevent us from making any progress. And I believe that, we're behind on the 8 ball in terms of a lot of things that we should have been doing in terms of, politics and other things, because, we've got so many immigrants that are part of the Black Caucus. They're not willing to help us move forward or make any progress. We know the Black Caucus isn't willing to help us move forward and make any progress. So I just believe there's a lot of forces now, but I am encouraged because I believe, we're about the business now. We have a lot of people, coming and using social media. We have a lot of good organizations that are out there now that are continuing to get the message out that says we are not backing down. We're serious about this. I do want to piggyback off of what Talon said. I do believe a lot of this is like a threat. It's more of a threat that we are delineating from them now, and I think that's just pissing them off. So they're like, okay, the delineation, no, that can't happen. So we got to double down on stupid now. We got to really, throw out these tactics and do these things to try to prevent them from getting those reparations. And one of the things that, in my opinion, I wish that I think we should stop doing is arguing with them, getting in these spaces and having these arguments with them. I know sometimes we try to convince them, that this is our rightful claim and that it's not their rightful claim. Well, they know that. And so I think that it's just a waste of time. It's just using up energy, to continue to talk to them about that. When we know that there have been a lot of Jamaicans and a lot of other groups, like you mentioned, Asians and other groups, that, when they have to practice politics to get their resources and things they want, they don't come asking us and trying to convince us to support them. They just do what they had to do and they go ahead and do it. So I just wish that we would, just stop arguing with them and wasting all that time and energy. And I kind of look at it that, let's not cast our pearls to swine. We know that they're not for us. They do not want to see us get it, and everything that they are trying to do is against us because they don't want us to have it. So that's my opinion on it. So anyway, I will land, and thank you so much, Newstoter and DJ, for allowing me to speak.
No problem. And Queen B, I saw quite a few I've seen quite a few Pan-African spaces lately, and I've seen them talking about reparations and freedmen and this and that or whatever. I see them also saying that that why are freedmen begging for reparations? So you're right. That to me that's almost like beating a dead horse. You're never going to get them to agree. Now, if you say that, okay, everybody black over here deserves reparations, I think then you would actually have some unity with them. But for the simple fact that you're saying that, black Americans that are descended of chattel slavery, they're the ones that's entitled to reparations. For whatever reason, that just really ticks them off.
Right. And they know they are not, that they don't have any stake on that claim. They know it. So why argue with them? To me, it's just, again, casting pearls to swine. They know it.
Oh, I don't argue with them, but if they want to come up in this space and actually conversate or something like that, I'm not going to stop them or whatever. But I don't argue. I'm not going to go up in the space and try to convince them that, hey, this is how it should be or whatever, because they pretty much already have their mind made up. You don't catch too many Pan-Africans in my space. But the one that really shows up the most would be probably Shepherd. And Shepard normally shows up towards the end of the actual space, but I listen to what people have to say. I try to be respectful, let them go ahead and say what they want to say, how they feel or whatever. But at the same time, I know I'm not going to change their mind. They're not going to change my mind. But Shepard was in the last space we had last Thursday about this, because this is almost like a continuation. Shout out to Secret Sister. I see Secret Sister over there in the actual YouTube world as well too. So shout out to Secret Sister. Everybody that's coming up in the YouTube, make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and share out the broadcast. Give us a like and a comment as well. But Shepard was basically saying, we were saying, DJ, last week, that basically that the slavery claim that we're trying to use, that the slavery claim is almost too old to a certain degree, and that if we go ahead and we come with a more recent about those who've been impacted and harmed based off of the actual systematic racism and redlining and this and that or whatever, then we have more of a realistic shot of actually getting it. He was saying that we pretty much need to go ahead and not worry about the 1% of actual Caribbean immigrants that was in the country during that time, because you're only talking about 1%. We're still going to be the very bulk of it. It's just a very tiny, minute number that, the slavery claim is going to be almost impossible to actually get anything with. So let's focus more on a more updated. We can go back as far as to like the 60s or something he was saying. And I don't want to misquote him, but he was saying that basically we need to go ahead and go a little bit further in time. So that way we'd only have 1% of actual Caribbean immigrants would actually be entitled to that. So that's not a big deal. And, that would build, that's more realistic. That was his words.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, is he some sort of, I don't know, strategist or something like that?
I don't know exactly what Shepard is.
He came into one of the Republican spaces talking as if he was some sort of strategist.
I think he said he has a political. He has said that he has helped in campaigns. So I believe he has helped in local campaigns from what he's told us before.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm just not into convincing these people anymore. None of them, it's just a lost cause. I think they have their minds made up already. but certainly when they turn antagonistic about it, I'm not gonna argue with them and go into spaces to allow them to do that. And that's just my own sanity.
Nor should you. Nor should you.
My own sanity now. I just am very choosy now.
Yeah, nor should you. I mean, what? It's no point. It's no point in going to these, especially going some of these spaces. You're gonna have like some of the spaces. I'm not gonna mention any of the hosts' name, but they know for like cursing people out, especially the women and stuff like. So, you be better served not to go in some of these spaces. We know who they are, but like I say, I'm not even gonna mention the names and stuff. But they quick to go off. So yeah, I don't think you be best served doing that. I don't want to tell you what to do because definitely. You're your own woman and you can do what you want to. You're grown, but just from what we hear and whatnot, they quick to go ahead and give people a tongue lashing.
Yeah, that's just my own sanity. That's me speaking for me.
Yes, ma'am. I see Talent is back up here. Talent, go ahead. I know you had to hear what I was talking about because, like I say, and DJ and of course Rella, she's down in the listener section. But Rella and Shepard was having a little go back and forth and stuff like that as well too. And of course, Shepard started going also talking about the Civil War and what we should have done after the Civil War and this and that. So that was even another story that was even another part of the actual conversation that kind of was kind of going here and there as well too. But go ahead, Talent, you got it.
It just gets so complicated when you entertain that, right? You got to talk about immigration status, right? Are we talking about people who came over here legally, illegally? What is their status now? Green card holders, did they ever get their citizenship? I grew up with some kids who ain't get their damn citizenship till like they turn like 25, 30, and they had to wait years, but they was here. So shit is weird, right, when it comes to that. But it's also based on the harms. The individuals who have a continual harm after emancipation. So our claim is a reoccurring claim. This is an example. When they did the UN Reparations Summit out here in New York City, when we went there were people from Pittsburgh, people from Detroit, some people from I think even somewhere in the Midwest. And what they were focusing on is the continued harm. So they broke down Redmond and they broke down mass incarceration, but they continued to specify us. And this is weird, right? Because in that meeting, in that summit or that conference, there was some people from Narcan and Cobra in there. They were sitting down. They weren't even the people that were presenting those cases. It was specifically people of parties to various reparations efforts around the country and talking about how they continue to build out the harms, the badges of slavery, I guess is the language that's being used now for the specific people. So within that, it would fundamentally be a different claim because we are one specific people who are still dealing with the badges of slavery and the unmet needs of our community, specifically as Black American, American Negro people. And then these other people come into this country at whatever varying times they come after the 20th century. That does not mean that they also had and experienced that harm. When you read off, and when I read off what happened in Boston, we're looking at $8 to $12,000. That's, you would have to be able to prove that there's a harm. And if we understand that reparations is looking at the racial wealth gap, right? And we're talking about scholars, Dr. Sandy Garrity, saying that we are able to quantify the harm based on the fact that our net worth is going to be at zero by 2053, and we own less than 1/2 or 1%. I don't even understand what would be the qualifying measure to showcase that they have been economically impacted when we see that they have more economics than us, right? And it then can't be reparations by way of color, by way of race, because then that in itself would be redefining the actual people who deserve reparations. Because the moment you get into for all Black people, we worrying about Black immigrants and Black Africans and not Black people from Latin America, other people who gonna say, well, I'm Black too because I'm Black by way of a complexion. Now we got to look at the East Indians who think that they Black too because they got dark skin. So what would it actually be the moment you take it out of this specific group and the harms inherent like we could go into all of these different areas of the data. The things that we are leading in are the things that killing us, and the things that we are lowest in are the things that would help us get out of those circumstances. And if they don't have the data to match that, then we are just talking about people who want to insert themselves based on a concept of race and blackness and how they believe that they are subjugated, or they would try to make an argument that they're subjugated without even the data to prove it. And then it will be anecdotal and bring up these one-off or these smaller situations where there were certain misfortunes that happened to Black Africans or Black, Caribbeans, like Amadou Diallo in New York City, and people could mention something, but if we're talking about collecting that information in mass and not saying, okay, these are one-off situations where these people might have put individual claims against police brutality or individual claims based on whatever discrimination, it's not going to collectively even make sense. Even if you go with Shepard's Wolf statement, right? That 1% that existed in 1960 does not collectively in that 1% have enough harms to even make sense for them to even be substantial within the claim. And that's the reality. The reality is that there is no claim for them separately unless they include themselves into our claim. And they would literally have to do the work to pull the data, to segregate who they are and the harms that they have, to say, hey, we have been affected by systematic racism too, and here is the evidence. But if the evidence still is not limiting them from economic stability and building out wealth and having more of a median income than us, then I think it falls flat on its face, because direct cash payments is one of the main things that we are specifying with to close the wealth gap. And we can't include somebody that economically is doing better than us when one of the fundamental arguments we have within our claim is the economic deprivation and the like the sanctioning that we went through with these exclusionary policies, right? So I just think that it would fall flat on its face the moment you would have to collect their data, and that would literally nearly crash reparations for us, because it would then be a sabotage.
And you made a great point there. Now, I'm trying to think, Talent, if he was saying, because he was talking about the claim with slavery. I know he was. I don't know if he was talking about the 1870 census, and then he was saying maybe 1900 might be the second claim. And if you take the immigrants from 1900 on up, I guess to maybe and like I said, I don't want to put words in his mouth because he's not here, and I can't exactly remember. But it may have been 1900 that you could start using the actual Black immigrants in there. He said it's only one, it's only a tiny percent of them. So you don't have to worry about splitting up a whole bunch of money and this and that or whatever. So you can use the ones from the 1900 up until, I guess, maybe the civil rights movement. Like I say, I don't want to go ahead and put words in there because he's not here.
Let me throw this back into you. Then it gets nonsensical, because in 1900s, were they birthright citizens, right? Were they even citizens when they came over here, or were they aliens? And if they were not citizens, then what protections did they actually have based on the United States Constitution, right? We actually have a claim because the 14th Amendment gave us citizenship, 15th the right to vote, that we already know. And because of us being seen as citizens, our claim is because the federal government did not protect us as citizens. Individuals coming over here and not being citizens, then that would still in itself be its own claim. It would literally be for undocumented individuals, Chinese exclusion people, they would literally have to line themselves up different than us, because their status as a citizen is not even the same as us in 1920, in 1900, in 1960. It just wouldn't be the same.
Hey, you made some excellent points there. You made some excellent points. Hey, I'm just a messenger telling you from what I can remember that he said. So, and you're right. If you coming straight over from 1900, then yeah, they wouldn't be not. If they had kids here and they lived here from 1900 and you had a couple generations, and I guess that's what he's trying to say, that those people, you can use them. And like you say, that makes it all that much harder to me, because like I said, if you're going by just the people in the 1870 census, you at least know that these Black people are here. You can go ahead and trace it back. I think that's not hard at all to go ahead and trace your ancestry back to the 1870s. So I don't really think it's that hard myself, but he was pretty much with the pretty much saying that, hey, it would be damn near impossible for us to get it. And I told him, I said, well, wait a minute, you have you have Native Americans getting reparations and money from something that happened 125, 130, 140 years ago. So, 150 years ago. So if they can get money from that, from a period of time that long ago, I see no reason why Black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery, can't also get money. Because you got right to this day, Native Americans are getting things, from treaties and stuff that happened over 100 some odd years ago. So what's the issue with us getting it? And then it was the whole thing, the wordplay that had, well, that they also getting treaties because they had a war with the United States and this and that. So it just kept going from one extreme to another. So Stephanie, I see you got your hands up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
I think DJ had his up in mind. You go ahead, DJ.
No, it's all good. So you can go ahead if you want. But I just wanted to repeat what Talent said, that we already first shepherd on that. The first immigrants that came here post-Civil War were white Europeans. And that's in the 1870s to the 1900s. And then the first, I guess you could say, Latin immigrants or from Latin America that came here. They came in like 1902 and 3 on up. And then obviously we understand Ellis Island. There was more white European immigrants. So when you say all blacks should get paid, those are the ones that they talking about that's going to get paid. These white jokers, yo. Come on, Shepard. Where you at? And I DM'd you, son. I DM'd you, Brooklyn.
I just wanted to say that if they could pay the descendants of a group of Italians that were killed in New Orleans 150 years ago, if they can give that family reparations, then I know that they can give us reparations. I mean, come on, we're like probably 2-3 generations out of slavery, and I'm talking about my great-grandmother's grandfather was a slave. So we're not that far from slavery for people to be saying that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand what the situation is. This is trying to grandfather everybody into our claim. Like even AOC is trying to say, oh, they were Black Latinos. John Leguizamo's trying to say the same thing. I mean, these people are
I'm no Black, mommy. I'm no Black. I'm Dominican, mommy. I'm no Black.
Yeah, but now they're claiming Black. And that's the funny part. You know what I'm saying? But they were literally not Black 20 years ago. I had a couple of arguments with a couple of girls that told me to my face that they was not Black. One of them was the color of my Timberland boots, and my boots were Black.
Double soul, double soul?
They was double souls.
Don't.
But yeah, I mean, she told me to my face that she was not Black, and I was so shocked, and I didn't understand that concept back then. And I was trying to tell her, I was trying my best to tell her that she was not, that she was Black, but she did not want to hear it. So, to now you're Black, I don't get the concept of that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, if that Italian, the descendants of those Italians that was killed 150 years ago can get reparations, then I know we can. They just trying to hide it. They're trying to shut us up. They want to really do a one and done. Like if you sign this paper that you never file for reparations claim ever again, we'll give you this amount of money and just shut us up. And then guess what? We're back to square one because they're gonna kill us in taxes. That's number one. They're going to kill us in taxes. We still haven't gotten a hate crime, a protection bill for hate crimes. We have the highest hate crimes in the country, but nobody likes to address that. And the specific harm is done specifically to us. If these people speak with an accent, guess what? They're left alone. Even Malcolm X said that. Muhammad Ali was talking about how he was discriminated against when some Africans went into a restaurant and said, hey, we're African. And they just let them on in and let Muhammad Ali and them stand outside. So there is a big distinction, and these people know that, but now they're trying to, grandfather their way into our justice claim. They have CARICOM, they have AFRICOM. They didn't even want the Haitians in CARICOM. They didn't even want them in AFRICOM. Okay, they just let the Haitians in like probably 2019, 2020, or something like that.
2010.
Oh, it was 2010 that they just let them in?
2010, 2011, somewhere like 2012, they let them finally into CARICOM, but they still ain't let our Black asses in. Let's go.
They still didn't let us in because they claim we don't have a nation. But I don't understand it. We've been here for 200 years and we don't have a nation. Yet you're here thriving in a nation that you say that we don't have. So I don't understand the logic, and I feel like this. Somebody brought up Amadou Diallo. I forgot who it was. I think it was Talent. Amadou Diallo got $9.3 million in his settlement. Okay, so he got his justice plan. Okay, what about the rest of us that's facing mass eviction, mass incarceration? When these guys come out of prison, where are they going to go? I mean, these immigrants are running amok here. Nobody is saying anything about that. All they're doing is moving them from one shelter to another one. And that's all they're doing. They're giving them all of the money that should have went to us. And they're running a huge tab in these cities. So I don't understand. They could easily take a claim and go to the World Court and file their grievances there and leave our justice claim alone. That's what they could easily do. And I'm going to just land right there at that part. Hi, Bella.
All right. Thank you. Hey guys, make sure y'all check out tomorrow's night. Like I say, They Clone Tyrone. We're gonna be talking about that review and everything that it means to Black society, the innuendos and everything else that's up in that actual Netflix movie. Matter of fact, guys, if y'all got Netflix, definitely check it out. If you checked it out, we want to hear from you. We want to get your thoughts on the actual movie as well. And we're gonna be talking about the Emmett Till Monument as well, and the and just the whole idea behind this. We warming up for the 2024 election, so that's the new symbolic gesture that they went ahead and created. So that they're gonna go ahead and create a monument of Emmett Till. Just so happens that election time will be right around the corner soon, so we got to go ahead and get everything revved up and make sure that we can throw a few nice gestures out there for the Black community. Go ahead and get them revved up, and then Biden can also say what he's done and what he's contributed to Black society and Black people and everything else when the midterms and everything else, not midterms, but when the actual election cycle starts up again. So definitely make sure that if you have not seen the actual Netflix movie, They Clone Tyrone, go ahead and see it tonight so you can come up in here tomorrow and we can actually talk about it, because we're going to be going in, we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to be talking about the Emmett Till Monument as well too. So definitely come in here with us tomorrow night. That's going to be on YouTube, live streaming it as well in the actual Twitter space. Rella, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Shout out to the descendant community in this space.
What's up?
All my Negro, freedmen, American, ADOS, FBA, all of the beautiful people in this space. I want to say, there was no lies told. Shepherd, again, it's always good to, talk about the historical points, but the only true measure is actually going to be the qualifications that are presented by each state in the forms of harms that are identified to represent what the descendant community have been through. There is no need to, and I agree with Queen. Shout out to Queen. When Queen B, when she made the statement saying, I'm just not in the business of arguing with people no more. I'm going to just let the facts, let the information speak for itself. I'm going to allow myself to be ever present in today with who my lineage is, who my family is, because they didn't get to do that. They didn't get to fully do that. Let me take that back. They didn't get to fully do that. And it's crazy how we live in a society that prides itself on self-identification and having the right to identify how you want to or what your family culture is and nationality is. But then when we talk about CARICOM and we talk about even our vice president meeting with the heads of CARICOM, and there's no Black American descendant in those discussions to let us know what is going on, I pause. And I'm not saying that our lives, but no one can tell the stories better than we can. That's why we are the descendants. That's why we're here. I do believe that we are in a divine appointment, an assignment. No matter where you land in the information, And it is your duty as a descendant on the battlefield to take this message to the masses, to take the information to the masses, to make sure you get the information so that you'll be, armed and ready. Physical protection is not the only one. Intellectual protection, mental protection is very, very important. I love the fact that Chris always talks about our mental health in our space and how important that is. I've seen a lot of people who are Pan-Africans going into, just sitting in spaces, going into rooms. I've been in rooms also where you're trying to talk to people who act as if they have a care about who you are as a person, your whole person and nationality, and they'll quickly tell you that you think you're a white supremacist, you think you're, anything other than a Black American. How offensive. How offensive can someone be? I couldn't imagine going to another country and telling someone to deny who they are and their culture and the things that they've been raised up to be. Stealing their language, removing them from their families, and not repairing them to make them whole, while telling them they have to respect outwardly into society. They have to make sure they show up and be humble, bow head, and quiet. That is one of the biggest problems we're facing. And I no longer choose that. I choose violence in the way of my pen, my knowledge, the more that I can acquire to help me fight these battles. I choose violence. And I'm not even going to argue with Shepard. I think that, he'll come in and say what he wants to say, because even he is yearning for a space to belong to. And what's going to happen is people are going to push us away so much so that it'll be too late in the end. This is the reason why I do believe Black majority states are so important, because we are going to get our reparations. And when we do, I don't feel a need to benefit any of the white majority states that have denied legislation. I don't feel a need that we would need to benefit if we are smaller in population in states that participated in harms within impunity. And so I think that repair belongs to ourselves, and we need to be around ourselves to fully see what that looks like. So when the reparations hit your bank account, if we do get a Freedmen's Bureau, whether we call it the Freedmen's Bureau or whatever we get that will help divvy out resources to the women and children and men who are battling homelessness or struggling paycheck to paycheck or just in need of a full-on repair to thrive, I hope that we are together. And I pray that we are flying our flags, that we are flying the love of the Black Heritage flag, the love of Ben Haith and the Juneteenth flag. And every time we have a chance, that we get a chance to celebrate, because it belongs to us. It is ours.
Now, what about the RBG flag?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Raise your hand, and we'll get to you.
I'm just saying, sister shouted out all the other flags. Shout this one out too.
Yeah, we'll get to you. Go and raise your hand.
No, I can answer them. I don't have to actually shout that flag out, because that's not a flag that I actually represent. And I'll tell you why. I don't represent the RBG flag because I've had the discussions about how that flag came about. And there has been a lot of material actually.
How did this flag come about?
There's been a lot of material that has come about when Marcus Garvey actually came into creating the RBG flag. And a lot of people don't speak on that. So when you actually get the full story, the RBG flag is a globalization flag, right? And it's a globalization flag. It represents the reds of the world, It represents the black in Ireland, and it represents
Man, I swear to God, these public schools have failed us.
I didn't actually.
Hey, real quick, Black Greatness.
Where you see that reparations coming, you ain't getting no damn
Hey, Black Greatness, go ahead and let her finish speaking, and then we'll let you go ahead and speak. Here, we're gonna let the people go ahead and finish, and then we'll go ahead and we'll let you get it in since you just came into space. So go ahead and let her finish speaking. Really, go ahead and wrap it up because I want to hear what he's got to say.
No problem. So again, there's no need to argue because the stats and the information is there. It doesn't take away nothing for what Marcus Garvey stood for the globalization of Black people. But for the fight here in the United States, I'm going to represent the correct way, and re-information and re-education has to be out front and forward. If you want to fly the RBG flag, I don't have any problem with that. That's your business. But that's not something that I choose to do. And I'll leave it there.
All right, Black Greatness, you can go ahead and you can respond.
Yeah. This sister is out of line spreading that type of misinformation in a recorded space. The red for the blood that your ancestors sacrificed for you to sit here and spread misinformation about them. Black for your skin, the melanin that makes you who you are. Green for the motherland, the promise of returning and being back where we are supposed to be as the superior beings on this fucking earth. That's what it stands for. Marcus Garvey didn't create it by himself. Black Americans helped him create this flag because we needed it. You hear me? Flags you talking about many years.
Hey, Rella, let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead, Black Greatness.
Then the sister's talking about reparations in the bank account. Do you niggas know something I don't? Because your title says Black immigrants demand equal reparations. You're still hoping for
I'm not a nigga, so that's how ignorant you are. I'm not.
Hey, Black Greatness. Go ahead, man, and go ahead and speak. Go ahead and get it in.
Nigga, you're a nigga, she's a nigga, we're all niggas. Deal with it.
Okay, you done, Black Greatness?
No, brother, the stage was in delay.
Go ahead.
But as I was saying, you're sitting in this space talking about Black immigrants demand
just give references.
And this sister is in here talking about reparations.
Give references when
this
you
is the
talk.
type of delusion that has come around the reparations movement. We're going to sit in spaces and talk about how the Black immigrants are taken from us. They're stealing. They're cosplaying us. They're tethering on to it. The white folks ain't gave you reparations. It's amazing that the Japanese man sat on the California Task Force reparations. And I didn't hear not a peep out of any of you niggas. It's amazing that the Japanese were just able to get reparations. So America was willing to repair Japanese people before they were willing to repair you. Think about that.
You don't run in the same circles we run in, so that's why.
Because you probably sleep with the white folk like a lot of you niggas do. You got admiration for the white folk.
Like the white folk.
All right. Black Greatness, I'm gonna go ahead and let you wrap it up, because like seriously, the article stems from actually Boston. In Boston, you got Black activists up there saying that the actual immigrants, the Black immigrants, are entitled to reparations just as much as Black Americans. So the actual article is up in the Jumbotron because the activists in Boston said that Black immigrants are entitled to reparations. That's what this is what the actual conversation stems from that we were talking about last week. Just to put you.
And that's correct. Need to read no damn article, nigga. I just go outside like I just was and see Black folks homeless as a motherfucker. You gonna go check their lineage? Are you gonna go check their lineage to make sure it ain't a Caribbean that's homeless instead of an African American?
Hey,
that's your problem.
Black
You don't
folks are suffering in this motherfucking country due to systemic racism. That's why. So our Black brothers and sisters that come over here,
what you about to do about it? What you about to do about it?
You need to stay on your mind.
You stay on your mind and stop sounding like the Cookie Man.
Who is it? Mimi?
No, actually, that's not Mimi. But actually, Black. Oh, Black Greatness. Let me say this right here. Hold on. Well, brother. Well, I'm gonna let you finish, but you've been going for a minute, so go ahead and wrap it up.
I just got up here. I ain't been going for.
You've been going for a second, Playboy.
This has been interrupting me. All right, I did. I apologize.
All right.
If we friends now, can we get past that?
Hell fucking no, we ain't friends. God
Oh,
damn it.
and she got a voice like mine. There.
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
All I'm saying is, what's your question? But all I'm saying is, black folk get deported the most. They come over here to lease and get deported the most. Why don't you niggas care about that? That's a function of this systemic racism that we're facing collectively. So yes, we're advocating for race-based reparations that will cover all black folk, because it's a long fight. I don't know if you niggas know this, because this sister sitting up here talking about a bank account. Me and her won't even be here the day this shit happens, because we ain't got the folk that need to fight, that have to do the fight, because it ain't you niggas. Let's be honest.
So you telling us it ain't you either?
You.
It ain't you either.
Okay, Black. No, this is what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta get to some other new speakers. I see Hilda's up in here. So I'm gonna say this right here. I don't have an issue with black immigrants getting reparations, in their actual countries where they come from. But this country was built off of the backs of black Americans that was chattel slavery. So black Americans built this country up, and they the ones that should get reparations. They never got reparations yet. So first and foremost, they should get reparations before any other group.
Built this country. Your ancestors are African, Newstoter. Do you know that?
They were Africans when they first came over here. But after a generation, hey, wait, hold on. Don't interrupt me, cuz. I ain't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. They were Africans when they first got over here. There was black people that was already over here too. They mixed or whatever. But nonetheless, after a generation or two, a couple generations, let's be for real, Africa got beat up out of them. So no, every black person, they got beat up out of them. Like Toby Kunta Kinte. Nigga, I'm going off of realization. Why they can't? Why can't anybody trace their name back to their original family? Why they can't trace their name back to their original families then? Fuck you mean, nigga?
Can you leave this African American alone and go to the next hand?
You're African American too. I don't care how much niggas take that.
All right.
All your ancestors African, Newstoter.
We all got African ancestors.
What you mean? Exactly. What else?
No, we're an amalgamation of things. You don't know what the hell you are.
All right, black greatness.
I said amalgamation. You don't know what the word is.
So what you saying? You saying that nobody. We still, no matter what, after all these hundreds of years over here, we're not black Americans. That's what you're saying.
We're not an immigrant.
I don't have a problem with. Okay.
But we are all black Americans. But
we're not immigrants.
So you saying that every black person responsible for building this country up is what you saying?
No, brother. Your African ancestors are responsible for that.
Okay. So in 1880, it was the African. In 1830, it was the African ancestors that built up the whole country. Okay, so at no time you just had regular black Americans building up the country.
Brother, I don't know what the fuck a regular black American is. An African is. We became black American.
They passed the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment to give us citizenship. So at this point, you need to read more.
Okay.
That's fine. But I'm not gonna.
Well, black greatness. I got to go on to the next speaker.
So slavery was a condition. Slavery was a condition in class. So the answer is yes. The answer would be yes.
I'm talking to Newstoter.
Yeah, I'm a descendant of slaves. Yeah, I mean, I have slaves in my background. I'm sorry, what was that?
Stop playing semantics.
Tell his sister to be quiet.
You said what was that, man?
You're not a descendant of Africans who were enslaved. You're just a descendant of slaves.
Yeah, Africans that were enslaved as well as other black people that was enslaved in this country too. Hey, are you telling me? Let me ask you a question. Were there any other black people? Or there were no other black people over here? Huh? So it was. So it was no matter what all these other explorers said in they journals and stuff. It was no black people over here. Who
wrote that in their journal?
You tell me. You had the people that came over here with Christopher Columbus already said that they saw black people over here. The people when Christopher Columbus came over here, didn't they have black navigators and stuff?
Where Christopher Columbus landed at?
Oh Lord.
I'm asking.
He landed in the.
I can't take your voice when you talk like that. I can't take you
Where he
serious.
landed at? I'm just asking that brother a simple question.
He landed in the Caribbean. What?
Caribbean.
Oh Lord.
Oh, see? Now you claim them Caribbean niggas. Don't you want them out the country?
I never said anything about anybody being out the country.
Which one?
He's trying to give you the banana.
I never said anything about people. You getting in your emotions, bro. I never said anything about anybody getting out the country.
Nigga, the Africans are the black people. It's as simple as that.
You don't even know about the RBG flag.
Okay.
Don't listen to him.
All righty.
Talking about Irish. We know you.
Okay.
White supremacy.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you something over there. In Africa, if they get reparations, the black people over here in America get it?
Are you over there?
I don't matter if I'm over there. We all black, remember? We all African.
Let me tell you this.
No. Answer that question. Answer that question.
I'm about to ask.
It's a yes or no.
I was actually thinking about this shit when we were in there trolling about CARICOM, old Freeman reparations. That's kind of true. I mean, we were trolling, but a lot of us are Caribbean too, especially you niggas born anywhere down near New Orleans, Florida. You niggas, you're black mixed with black, and that shit is dumb as fuck to even say you're African, because this shit ain't just a straight line. It ain't at all. It was a lot of human trafficking going on back in that time. So they will owe us reparations globally. That's why this has to be a global.
So you saying that? So I'm asking you a question, yes or no? I'm saying, if Africa gets reparations, are Black Americans due? Should they get the reparations Africa get?
This is a global fight. We have to hold every Western country responsible for slavery. Every Western country that had a hand in slavery.
Okay.
England, all of them, nigga. We want them all a part of this claim.
All right, go have a cigarette.
Okay.
They're responsible for this. You gotta understand that.
All right.
America will pay reparations. That's how we're gonna get this shit. A global fight. You niggas ain't gonna get it.
Well, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna put it this way. When we were sitting over here fighting for our rights in this country, the civil rights, and through Reconstruction, all of that, it wasn't a global fight. You didn't have everybody in the world coming over here helping us out. Straight up. It wasn't everybody in the world sitting over here when damn Martin Luther King got his brains blown out. The entire damn black world wasn't sitting over here tearing shit up. It was Black Americans tearing it up. So let's cut the nonsense out right here, bro. It was Black Americans that was doing that. Straight up. Now tell me I'm lying. Am I lying? Okay. Nigga, the Haitians didn't come any goddamn well.
Then we talk about the greatest African of all time, Marcus Garvey. Shit, no greater black.
Okay. All right.
He got caught up in the same city. He got caught up in the.
He's from Jamaica. Shout out to that.
Marcus Garvey became a legend. Marcus Garvey became a legend. Marcus Garvey became a legend because Black American. Marcus Garvey became a legend because the black people over here in America lifted him up. He could not get that legendary status when he was in the islands of Jamaica. Let's be real here. It took him coming over here to America and Black Americans lifting him up. That's when he became a legendary figure. How did they treat Marcus Garvey when he returned back to Jamaica? Didn't Marcus Garvey spend his last few years over there in England? Stop it. You talk about how great he was. It was Black Americans that lifted Marcus Garvey up and made him into the iconic status. Now everybody in Jamaica wants to go ahead and claim him and lift him up, but it was Black Americans that put Marcus Garvey on that pedestal. Black Americans always was the ones that caped for the entire Pan-African movement, and you didn't get this whole global help, this helping hand all worldwide. It was Black Americans, bro. So stop with the nonsense, cuz. Nigga, because you talking over everybody.
But I'm giving you evidence that they had. And I mean, you brought up Martin Luther King, nigga. Do you know
Black
Martin
greatness?
Luther King?
Do you know Black greatness? Do you?
Yeah.
The continent is not North. Was he in Northern? Was he in North America? Was he in North?
All right. Kick the nigga out. Kick the nigga out. Kick the nigga out. Kick the nigga out, bro.
Hey, look, before I kick you out the room, Black greatness don't on call our sister a bitch.
Nah, he already left. Nah, the nigga.
He's right here. Hold on, brother. Hold on.
I don't see him.
Hold on a second. Go ahead. So here's how you cook a tether, right? All you gotta do when they say, right, we all together. Well, why wasn't in the 90s when the Black immigrants came up here into America, specifically New York, y'all was rocking those country of origin head seat rests. You had no problem rocking your Jamaican colors and your Asian colors and saying, I'm not Black. You know what I'm saying? So how are we all together? And then one day, I'm downtown. Shout out to Secure the Child. We having our stomp rally down in the bricks. We run into the pain gang. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Marcus Garvey could have been COINTELPRO. These niggas was ready to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Keep it real, yo. This Tucker was a snitch, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this cat is.
Can I just say this, please?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be good.
Go ahead, and then let me get. Go ahead, because then I want to get to get the Hilda and Fred and them.
I'm gonna be good. And you know what? Now I realize why it was always these spaces where people were arguing with other people, because you had people running the spaces that had no intentions of protecting Black, descendants in those spaces. And they were trying to force some force of unity and Pan-Africanism that does not exist in the United States. And the crazy part is that it took him to call me out my name because he was getting frustrated with the facts. The fact of the matter is Marcus Garvey, I believe, was the one who got Callie House and Isaiah Dickerson arrested, because right after they were arrested, he takes over the reparations organization and then uses the money to create this boat, imaginary repatriation boat that never materialized, all while telling Black descendants that we have no culture. We don't know who we are. We need to go back to the motherland. And I'm thinking to myself, now that I hear people today, I could imagine what they were going through back then, because a lot of the reading says we were so far removed. It's not that we didn't recognize that we didn't have amalgamation, or we weren't African in our lineage. It was saying that they knew who they were as descendants, as the ancestors at the time, even as Negroes, as freedmen, as all the classifications, and they were fighting to secure our story. But you had the immigrants coming over here, throwing a monkey wrench in the bag, and the people who believed in Pan-Africanism. I think we're just realizing all these things happen, and we're really got to see this. We got to see this through. Regardless of what somebody says, when you read a lot of information and you uncover stuff, your perspective changes. And it's unfortunate that you got somebody whose perspective is that's so dense and so low that he would call somebody out their name, but then want to come in here talking about globalization and some sort of unity. No, sir.
All right, Rella, let me say this about Marcus Garvey. And I know what you're saying, that you suspect that he may have said something. We don't have any concrete proof that he may have had anything to do with that. So I'm not going to tie Marcus Garvey to that. You know, I don't know exactly what went back during that time, what happened, what went down or whatever. So I can't go ahead and tie him to that. But in terms of this dude right here, like I said, I tried to go ahead and let him speak and whatnot. And I know Black greatness reputation or whatever, so I knew it wasn't going to be long or whatever. But nonetheless, what he said and whatnot was, that wasn't called for. So that's why I was like, get him up out of here, because he couldn't handle the actual conversation. He started talking all this crazy stuff, talking about Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey became a legend because of Black people in this country. You sitting up here and everything Black people went through in this country, you did not have the diaspora sitting up here coming to our aid, rescuing us. So that is just complete nonsense, and he knows that. So, let the dude go ahead and troll elsewhere. I don't have no issue or whatever, but what he was saying didn't make any sense. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and we'll move the room. So I'm sorry. I knew when he came up in here, I was gonna let him speak or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. So let me go ahead and try to get.
Talk to Black greatness, you saw, son. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me say something. I'll piggyback off of Rella. So get in the Jumbotron, y'all. Top left hand side. You already know what it is. We be having these receipts and shit. So why you ain't tell your boy LTC to come up in too, so we could make Ted stew out of his ass too. You know what I mean? Because you ain't alone in this your little pan-African fight, Black greatness. So it says right here, according to him, this is his space. Why is ADOS FBA security trial Freeman so lazy? You scroll over to the next picture. Freeman waiting on reparation is like waiting on Santa Claus. So you got all this smoke for us. We ain't got no smoke for no other Black country or Black person. Let's be logical about that. We're not running around saying Jamaica shouldn't get reparations from the crown because the Queen died. When they was just down there when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry visited, they were screaming reparations. You guys in Zimbabweans talking about reparations from America. Everybody and their mama talk about reparations from America, but we ain't talking about reparations from y'all other countries until we get our federal dollars. Then we gonna go over there and take money from y'all too, because you owe us more than any fucking body, because we built this country, yo. Immigrants did not come here, specifically the Black ones, in droves until 1985, yo. So I'm only 43. Therefore, meaning I'm old enough to remember that it was really only Black and white in this country. Come on now, let's be logical about that. So he mad. Can't hold a conversation. Only want to scream on that because I've been trolling him ever since he had those two spaces. He won't let me on stage. He be kicking me out the room. So get in the chat, y'all. Y'all see them 60 comments down there in the purple? Yeah, let's go, man. Retweet that stuff, man. Let's go, man.
All right, let me go ahead and get Hilda up here. Hilda, how you doing tonight? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, how you doing, cuz? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? Oh, I see that. That's a nice profile picture you got there. You rocking the hell out that hat.
Hey, don't be stepping on my cousin.
Oh, okay. Well, she rocking that hat though. I like that.
Yeah, so I'm glad I came in here because I didn't see the article that you have in the Jumbotron.
It's on the far right hand side.
Yeah, I see it now. I'm going to read it as soon as I finish speaking. But yeah, we don't owe Black immigrants anything. If anything, they owe us. In New York City, I'm gonna put the article and even the study of it. And Chairwoman Moore was in the space, and she actually gave me the study of how Caribbeans in the 1900s monopolized real estate and became realtors and practiced something they were practicing in the Caribbean, where they blockbusted and were able to, as realtors, were able to find, because at the time, Negroes weren't able to really own property. They were able to, these Caribbean realtors were able to find disinfected white people that would sell them houses, and they sold it only to other Caribbean people. So there was never no pan-Africanism. They didn't include Black Americans. And that's why today, out of Black people in the country, Caribbeans hold the most deeds of real property in the country because of their blockbusting in the early 1900s. Also, Caribbeans 20 years ago lobbied Congress for 12 years to actually delineate. So we're not doing anything that these immigrant groups have done. All immigrants have done. They come here for resource, American dream, and they work among themselves. They don't include Black Americans. They don't care about Black Americans until it's something that they can benefit from Black Americans. So we are doing the right thing by delineating where we can advocate and allocate resources to our specific communities with that disaggregated data that we'll get once we delineate. And that's what they've always done. So we're not doing anything different than they have done. And Black is a troll. I believe he's from one of these Narcan and Cobra or IBW radical Pan-African groups. He calls himself a Black nationalist, but he's not uniting anybody Black. He's actually dividing people. He had held his space yesterday with the title "Freedmen and FBAs are lazy and looking for a handout." This is the type of people we're dealing with. They hate Black Americans. They just hate us. I don't know why. They think they're going to shame us or beat us into submission for reparation, for a debt that is not owed to them. And this is like insanity that we actually have these radical Pan-Africans pushing to include other Black people, which I believe they want to sabotage our reparations because they're making millions of dollars from these white foundations without us getting reparations. So I don't think they really want us to get reparations because even after this Supreme Court ruling, which is clear that this conservative Supreme Court is going to strike down any race-conscious laws or policies. It's already been established that they're striking down any race-based policies or laws. Why would you continue to want to push a race-based policy? Why would we be stupid to go along with that, knowing that it most definitely from these conservative law firms and think tanks are going to challenge whatever we put out there, and the Supreme Court will strike it down. So if this is the agenda and narrative that these radical Pan-Africans want to push, including other immigrants that have no claim to our reparations, so it can be race-based, so we can get struck down and don't get any reparations at all, we need to fight against it tooth and nail and be very consistent and persistent with that. I land my phone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Hilda. Real quick, everybody on YouTube, make sure those on there, y'all, you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and leave a comment, like the actual broadcast. Same with everybody on here. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I believe it's the fourth on the right-hand side. Go ahead and subscribe to the Newstoter YouTube channel. Help us grow it. Help us grow it. Also, retweet out the space as well. Everybody retweet the space out. Definitely. And for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Guys, we got a bunch of people up in the space as well, too. So definitely for those that can do a $1 donation tonight to the program, that would be greatly appreciated. For those on YouTube, the links are up in the description as well too. So let us go ahead and move it around a little bit. Let us go ahead and get to Re-Raw, you up in here. Let me get to you, Re-Raw. Fred, I'm gonna get to you too, but let me go ahead and get to the new speakers. I want to get to Re-Raw, I am, and then we'll get back to you, Fred, and Ray as well. So definitely, guys, if you're on YouTube, make sure y'all go ahead and y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. And definitely share the program. For everybody up in here, do the same thing as well. So if you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You can subscribe while the actual space is going on forth in the actual Jumbotron on the right-hand side. Click that subscribe. You can listen to the space as we're going. Re-Raw, what's going on tonight? How you doing, sister? Let's see, Re-Raw, you there? She may be a delay with her phone. Let's see.
Told her check your regular text message when you get a chance.
All right, Re-Raw, you there? She may I wonder if she's stuck in the matrix. Check her one more time. If not, then we'll go to I am. Re-Raw, you there? Okay, let's go to she may be she been up here for a hot second, so she'll come back. Let me get the I am, and then Fred. I know you've been up here for a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and get to the new speakers. 'Cause I know you spoke before, and I want to let them get a chance to speak, and then I'll come back.
I didn't speak yet.
Oh, you didn't speak yet, Fred? I thought you spoke. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry. Then go ahead and speak. I'm sorry. I thought you had spoke.
Yeah, he didn't speak. That's why I said check your message.
Oh, okay. My bad, Fred. I'm sorry.
Hey, look. That's what happens when you got a battery sellers. You know what I'm saying, Fred? Get your sword up.
My bad, Fred.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
What's good, big bro?
What's that? Yeah, there's no doubt about it that Black Americans should be leading the charge, because here's why. Nobody else has any credibility, no legitimate claim to reparations, at least from the United States of America. When you have these groups like these, when they're talking about Black immigrants demand equal reparations, yeah, they can get it from the country of their origin. When you have, like over in Africa right now, he's talking about pan-Africanism. They're not even united in Africa. They got all them different tribes over there. Then when they come over here, they build their own little enclaves, like I heard somebody else say. So when we speak of reparations for descendants of U.S. slavery, and also including the blacks that were here before slavery, this is why when it comes to Black America, I don't get hung up on things like Negro and FBA and freedmen. I ask them, what's your definition of that? Now, when you have somebody that's talking this Pan-African stuff, the only real Pan-Africans are Black Americans. Nobody else has built a safe haven for any Black folks anywhere else on the planet outside of America. And then when you start, when somebody says Black, you have right now a bunch of these Hispanics, these Blacks that, they claim Hispanic first. That means they have more camaraderie with the Spanish ships that brought you over on slavery than they do the Blacks that were being enslaved here. So we're absolutely doing the correct thing by delineating. Yes, you got to trace your lineage back to the 1870 census. Anybody who has a problem with that just going to get rolled right the hell over. Because when you go there and try and include, like when they keep moving the dates, all they're trying to do is shoehorn in some more saboteurs. That's just that simple. Notice how the only group that they seem to have this type of dispute with are Black Americans, descendants of U.S. slavery. Everybody else get their money that week, every week like they work at a job. But when it comes to us, now they want to introduce a whole bunch of confusion. So anybody, just put them in the same category you would the Ku Klux Klan. If they don't 100% agree with what Black Americans, freedmen, Negroes, the reparations, the ones who want to base reparations on descendants of U.S. slavery and the Blacks that were in America before slavery, put them in the same category as you do the Ku Klux Klan. Now I'm mute.
All right, thank you, Fred. Let me go ahead and let me see Rerod one more time. Rerod, you there? I may have to drop Rerod down. She may be caught up in the matrix as well too. So Rerod, you there? I'm gonna drop her down, and then she gets a chance, she can come back up here. But I think she may be stuck up in the matrix. Let me get to I am. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
Peace, power, and reparations, brother. Peace to the family as well. Hope everybody's doing good on this Monday night.
Yes, ma'am.
It's really crazy because when you talk to Africans who are out on the motherland, they do not practice pan-Africanism. They do not practice pan-Africanism at all. Majority of them don't even know what the hell it is. So this is a pure American ideology. And not only that, if you're so concerned about Africa and Africans, why are you not over there helping them? What's going on with that? If you're so concerned. Now, don't get me wrong. Economically, it's a great ideology. We should be doing business with them. We should be practicing. We should be trading with them. I agree 1,000%. But outside of that, I don't know about y'all. My grandparents, my great grandparents, my parents said take care home first. So that's what we should be focused on. If you're so concerned about what's going on over there and what they got going on, then go over there. I don't have any problem with Africans or Caribbeans or Haitians, but being a New Yorker, I've heard them say out their mouth, even here down south, just very recent, a couple of weeks ago, I'm not black. I'm whatever. This is a well-known quote. They will tell you off the rip that they are not black.
I'm no black mommy. I'm no black mommy. I am. I'm Dominican mommy.
All of them. They'll tell you that in a heartbeat. And some of them is blue black. And they'll tell you that I'm not black. I'm African. I'm not black. I'm Haitian. I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. They'll say this in a heartbeat. And again, I don't have any beef with them. At one point in my life, I was practicing pan-Africanism, and I believed that in us trading with them, which is why I purchased land in Ghana 3 years ago, and I'm still going to build on my land. Period. I'm still going to purchase more land. But outside of that, in regards of our reparations, y'all gotta have to go on and fight your own fight. And we support you 100%. If you are old, then you are due, and you should get paid, and you should fight that. And not only that, Black gets on my nerves so bad. Like, he's such a mute maniac, and then he gets into space, and he has the nerve to say to Newstoter, "Why you keep muting me? Why?" But he is the super mute maniac. When you're in his spaces, you barely can say a sentence before he will mute you, scream and holler at you, and take you off mute. And before you even say something else, he mutes you again. So it's just ridiculous, If this is what you feel, get out in the street and talk to these other Pan-Africans that are not on Twitter. Get out there and talk to them and ask them if they feel the same way. Because I have friends that are Pan-Africans and they don't talk like that. They don't do that. They completely understand. Yes, we are owed reparations. Absolutely, they get it 100%. You're not saying all of us deserve reparations. Yeah, we may all people to go to your country and get what you're owed, because it's just not here. And please just
Hey,
we
that
spend so much time going back and forth about so many things, and we just losing focus.
Yeah, but that's the first that's the first time he's ever been up in this space. But I know about the spaces he has and whatnot. So he came up in here, and I was going to allow him to speak. But like you said, I don't go in this space, but I know plenty of people that have been up in this spaces, and like you said, he mutes you and he's cursing and everything else. So
absolutely all the time. I haven't even really been on here like that because it's just going. It's getting absolutely ridiculous now. The train is running off the goddamn track. We got to stay focused and get back to it because the conversation started here, and the conversation needs to continue here and go outwards. And as I say all the time, I will say again, we have to be out in these streets talking to our people, having these conversations with our people, because they just don't know. They don't know that these conversations are taking place. For the most part, they're not paying attention to what the media is saying. We have to have these conversations in these streets with our people. And as I say, every day, talk to somebody. If it's at your job, it's on the long-ass line at Walmart, you know what I'm saying? You at the gas station, wherever. We have to have these conversations in the streets with our people, because we're going to need everyone in this fight. We're going to need everyone to be pushing this forward in order for this to happen. And I truly, honestly believe that we will get reparation. I honestly believe that. And after I seen that video with Ronald Reagan, I said, God damn, the Republicans may just be the ones that's going to give us reparations. So that's definitely a conversation we need to have in regards to that as well. So I'm gonna land there. Family, you be safe, stay positive and uplifted. And we're gonna get reparations, family.
All right. Thank you. I am. Once again, guys, we're trying to get at least $1 donation for tonight's program on Cash App. Just $1 for anybody that can afford it. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We do this nightly, and we have our own platform, Newstoter.com, the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform. But we do need the support of our people as well to help us out as much as possible. So for those that can afford it, for those that have $1 that they can spare to not only tonight's broadcast, but the actual platform itself, Newstoter.com, it would be greatly appreciated. Once again, that is $Newstoter, Newstoter. DJ, thank you for your donation tonight. But if we can get a couple more people to donate that can afford it, it would be greatly appreciated. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up on the Jumbotron. We need to support our black people. We always talk about supporting black businesses and stuff like that. So Newstoter.com supports dozens of black-owned websites, bloggers, and everything else. So we support black business every day for free by pushing out their content. So definitely, if you support us, you're supporting other black-owned businesses as well too. So anybody that can support tonight's program and platform, not just tonight's Twitter space and tonight's YouTube video, but tonight to the program itself, the actual platform itself, it would be greatly appreciated. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. That's what it is. $Newstoter. Shout out to my girl, Goddess Michelle, as always. Thank you, sister. Shout out to the soul as well, too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead and get it to we got a new speaker up here, so I want to see who the new speaker. I want to see what the new speaker's got to say. What's your name? Is that Oya? Oya?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Ray, I'm gonna get to you too. Go ahead, Oya.
Okay, y'all just joined the space, so I'm gonna do a lot of listening, but I feel like we will get our reparations. It's just that we'll get them. It's the timing that we'll get them. So I feel like there's a group in this country trying to destroy this country, and so like they had like that banking collapse in California, where a certain group of people were able to get all their money out, and then they were able to get all their money back even past the FDIC guarantee. And so what will happen, in my opinion, is that they'll keep devaluing the dollar and keep doing things to bring this country down, and then they'll give us our reparations, quote unquote, as the final nail in the coffin in this country to make us be the blame for the fall in this country, for the fall of this country. So that's what I think. So I think like you see California and how the prices is just going through the roof and the housing is bad and gas is up. Right before it finally just defaults, they'll just give black people money and that'll, accelerate the default, and then they can say, hey, look, it was their fault. And then, so the same thing can be, I guess, extrapolated across the country if you see it that way. That's just my opinion. Kind of, I don't know if that's positive or negative, but that's just how I see it. I think we'll get our reparations as a means to subvert the country. That's my take. But I'll keep listening in. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Oya. Let me go ahead and get to Ray, and I'm going to get to you as well, Fred, too. So go ahead, Ray.
I guess my question, like I said, I probably should have asked this earlier when Black 666 was in, but I was going to ask the question, if Marcus Garvey was so beloved in Jamaica, why is it when he ran for office in Jamaica, he actually lost to a white man? I was going to ask that question. I really was genuinely curious about it.
I was going to get it in too, Ray. this dude was just all over the place and whatnot. But yeah, you saw when we started refuting what he was saying, he couldn't handle it. So he just lost. He was looking for a way to get up out, because I'm trying to be respectful and let old boy say what he's got to say or whatever. Like, hey, I don't have an issue. Like I said before, black people deserve reparations all over the world. I'm the first to say that. But right here, at this point in time in the country, black Americans, they have never settled a debt that's owed to black Americans. So, you can't just go ahead and say, okay, well, everybody's deserving of this and that or whatever. Brother, I get what you're trying to say about systematic racism and this and that, but we talking about the slavery institution that destroyed black people in this country. That's what's paid. That's what's owed. But and then, like I said, when you're talking about Marcus Garvey, I'm like, bro, Marcus Garvey became a legend because him coming over here to America. It was black Americans that elevated him. You know, he didn't have that elevation in the Caribbean. It took him coming over here to elevate him. So, you know, he just got upset about it, man. That you know, but it is what it is.
I was gonna ask this too because a lot of people don't know this. Marcus Garvey became inspired because he read Booker T. Washington's autobiography. I think it was like Up From Slavery, something like that. I believe it was Up From Slavery. And he actually got inspired from that, and then he created the UNIA, all those great things. If someone could, though, please help me find this. I cannot remember.
So the UNIA Ray was already created by Callie House. He changed the name after her and Isaiah Dickerson went to jail. And then that's when he took over. And he was inspired by Booker T. Washington, which is why he made the trek from Jamaica here, or from where he was here. I just put it that way. And he wanted to be a part of what was happening with the Negroes at the time. And he said his influence was Booker T. Washington. But he ends up, once they go to jail, take the money, he gets locked up and then gets sent back. And then he can't even go back to his own country. He had to live his life out somewhere else. So, I mean, it's a whole story. It's a very interesting thing. I think we need to tell the truth and maybe have a space about him.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. Does anyone know the name of that white dude that he lost to when Marcus Garvey ran for office in Jamaica? And a lot of people don't know this too. Marcus Garvey actually worked with the KKK.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me jump in there real quick, right? So just to answer some of that, but not really though, because like Rella said, we got to go have a space about it. So
we had a space on Marcus Garvey before.
We'll do the connection with Callie House though. So let's fast forward, right? Get off that subject, but keep it the same. So let's talk about Sheila Jackson Lee. You know her lineage, Jamaican, right? Who was the original author of HR 40? Our ancestor now, John Conyers. What was he accused of? Doing some type of weird sexual allegation, but it's a strong possibility, and it's no allegedly, that Jen Clodburn knew our ancestor, Mr. John Conyers, was innocent, yo. So, being that he was talking about reparations all this time, you feel what I'm saying? Wound up all of a sudden getting an allegation charge placed on him at his age and all the years he served in office, and then look who took over the HR 40, a goddamn Jamaican, yo. So if this shit don't correlate and make sense now, it do now. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk. We got Fred and Viral. Hold it down for one second, DJ. We got Fred and let Viral go, and I'll be right back.
Go ahead, bro. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Now, here's my question. What can Black Americans do to sabotage any group that's an immigrant over here? Like when they talk about these black people talking about pan-Africanism and we're against somebody, what are we doing that's actually against them? To be against somebody,
I can answer that just for the quick humbug. We ain't do anything other than call them African booty scratchers.
Well, I mean, like when they're talking about this unity stuff. If somebody, it's basically like somebody coming into your restaurant eating for free, coming to your house paying no rent, and then they get mad because you say, "Look, no more free lunch, no more free board," and then you say, "Look, from now on, you gotta at least help some kind of way in order to keep this house standing, to keep, basically to keep everything flowing like it should be flowing." Now all of a sudden, they claim, like I say, the only group that can be sabotaged over here is Black Americans. We can't sabotage no damn body. We're not doing anything against no other group. So like anytime somebody starts talking, you will know pretty much now that they're a saboteur. I'm muted.
Bars on that one. Go ahead, Bar.
Yeah, I like to shut these pan-Africanists down when they start talking about Garvey. Yeah, y'all correct. He came in 1916 and
Booker T died in 1915, and he couldn't get along with the people at Tuskegee. But one fact about Garvey is, you can look it up, he was never allowed to set foot in Africa. You let them know that, and they will shut up. You know, a lot of them will try to say, "No, that ain't correct." Marcus Garvey never was allowed to set foot in Africa. Rose, he was never allowed to set foot in Africa. He got money together and bought all kind of stuff for Liberia, steam shovels and, you know, paving equipment. And then they told him they wasn't gonna let him over there, and equipment just stayed in Liberia. Man, that Pan-Africanism, that was just a dream, and it was mostly coming from us and people like Garvey. You had a few people on the continent that had that spirit, but not many. They talking about reparations for them. How about reparations in your own country? Control the minerals in your own country. You're sitting on gold and oil and diamonds, and you're not controlling the resources. I mean, you can have Pan-Africanism, small businesses here, but until the continent control the resources, what are we talking about here? And I'll close on that.
Hey, basically what we're talking about is a group of folks that just can't do for themselves, it seems like, because why is you need to intrude on our shit? We're not intruding on your stuff. We don't go to the Congo and say, hey, Congolese homies, I know we family, all black, but I'm going to need you to come off with 25% of your reparations that the Belgians and King Leopold did for chopping your hands off and all this. Man, they going to stone us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Ty, what's up?
Oh, what's up? I just got back. What I missed?
What's going on? Not even reparations. Hold on. Just controlling the minerals that you have now.
Right. I understand that, but see, here's the thing. They can't, because you got to remember, Africa been colonized and chopped up. You know, Belgium owned a piece, Germany owned a piece, France got a portion, the Crown got a portion, you know, America owns something over there. See what I'm saying? So what these people really doing? You know what I'm saying? I just read a report the other day when it comes to this cobalt, you know, the stuff that's in our phones that make it go woo. You know what I'm saying? All this, I forgot the other minerals, cobalt or something else. So we got a lot of our African family over there that's digging this shit up by hand. Guess what? This shit poisonous, y'all. So it's like, you would think they will understand that, but as long as they got corrupt leaders over in Africa that's willing to sell their own people out, their tribe, remember, it's 54 countries with like 5,400 different tribes. Like, we can't keep track of all y'all knackers, you know what I'm saying? This is why delineation, segregation, I know MLK dreams was all our dream at one point, but that's over and said and done, yo. You know what I mean? But go ahead, whoever wants to.
I think it might be the Ty, because I just got back. I saw him with his hand up and the original came.
Go ahead, the original.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight? What's happening, man? Peace to the room. I just want to state that these people are not our family. These people are not our friends. These people are I wouldn't openly say just opponents in that language, but I would say they are at the minimum they are competitors, right? So when we think about America, a lot of us seem to frame it into this color cast understanding. And what we must understand first, that America to these people is a bank or a form of income to benefit their people. So when they come here, they side with the dominant society so they can get that income and those resources for their people. The dominant society, who's the enemy of the dominant society? Black Americans. So immediately, all immigrants are pitted against us. I don't think we grasp that concept completely. Sometimes we like to get, we are very programmed under this pan-Africanism, or not just pan-Africanism, but this melanin collectivism, I would say, that we believe just because people have melanin that they are black, or they identify with our history and our struggle against this dominant society. That's just not true. That's just not what it is. And
you say they were colonized. I don't think they were colonized in that manner. A lot of these people have they have deified these Europeans in a way that I don't think we grasp completely. When the Europeans came there after colonization, now we're speaking just from a 60-year period, from just 60 years. Anytime they saw a European, that person was bringing them goods. They were bringing them medicine. They were doing things for those people. So their viewpoint of Europeans is completely different from our experience here in America. So, we definitely need to begin to frame it that way. Now, the reason that we have people speaking on our behalf is because we're allowing immigrants to assume our ethnic identity the moment they touch the soil of America. Our ethnic identity is our history. What is our history called? It's called Black history. What is our culture called? It's called Black culture. Black is our ethnic group. Black is our experience here. In the title, you're calling them Black immigrants. So technically, before they even get here, the moment they touch down, they're tied to your ethnic group because you're giving them your ethnic designation the moment they touch down. So guess what? You're giving them the ability to speak on your behalf because you're including them immediately. So my position is we begin to delineate in a real way by stripping them of blackness entirely. By saying, no, you're not Black, because I've heard thousands of them say they aren't. So strip them of the concept of Black. Black is not your race. We don't go off of race. We go off of ethnicity. Our ethnicity is Black. We are Black Americans. Our experience in America is white and Black, not their experience. And we strip them of that blackness and watch how quickly their ability to speak on our behalf dissipates. Okay? It will immediately go away because what they're latching on is not just all of us being African. They're latching on to Black, right? And they're using that term Black as a broad spreading term because that's what we have done. We need to become exclusive. Exclusivity is the true expression of power. If you want to express power as an ethnic group, you must exclude others. You cannot exclude others if you're calling them your ethnic identity the moment they touch your soil, your native soil. That's the equivalent would be to every person that migrates to Nigeria, the Yoruba are calling them Yoruba. That would never happen. They would never allow it. So we need to learn to change our language, the way we speak about these people, the way we talk to these people, our understanding of ethnicity, and our understanding of race. Because if you're going to hold on, let me tell you what race does for us in America. Race gives everyone the ability to speak for us. So and race is what we were subjugated under. So if we hold on to race, we're literally holding on to white supremacy by the leg, right? And it eliminates specificity. If you want to be specific, you want things to be specifically for you, we must let go of race entirely. Clarence Thomas technically told us to do that in a way. We need to let go of race entirely and begin to only speak from the perception and language of ethnicity. I land there.
All right, thank you. We're gonna let Original come up here. Original, you're gonna be the last speaker for the night, so we're gonna get ready to close it down at the Original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, I won't be long because Ty has already hit it out of the ballpark, and he is right. We need to take that, take it from an ethnicity standpoint, because see, and he is right. And see, one of the other factors is that a number of these Pan-Africans, so-called Pan-Africans, they will go
See, when I lived in California, you had the radio station KJLH owned by Stevie Wonder. I never went, but they would do these yearly tours to Africa, and they would go over there, and then they would like I know several times they bought like washing machines and all kind of school supplies, or they donated money to a school and this, that, and whatever. And when you look at the fact, I don't know if anyone has mentioned this, when you look at the fact that quite a number of high-profile black people have built schools over there, like I think Serena Williams and some others, they built schools and things over there. So they see us as money coming in to come to help them. They don't see us, because I've seen so many of these people, when you say, especially recently, they will say, I'm not black, I'm whatever. Fine, you keep that same energy, and we have to push extremely hard and let these, because you got old Mark Mariel who's trying to say that, he said, yeah, these ADOs, they just want to get reparations for blacks in America. You're damn right, because these people, they're not connected to us unless there's a bag involved. They're not thinking about us. It's like what Ty said. They got all these damn tribes all over the place, and they identify by their tribe, and they see us as a tribe to compete with. They're not looking at tribe. I mean, how many of them have linked up with us? None of them. They're not looking up with us. And so, if they're saying they are owed these reparations, then we need to definitely delineate from them. And remember, I shared with you, and I'll say it again for some of the people who were not in the space. I have a cousin who is a retired engineer, and there was a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, and a Kenyan, and then this old Jamaican. He worked with these people from 8 to 10 years, and they, right off the rip, they delineated from him, and the three Africans told him that they was told, don't fool with them Negroes over there. See, they don't want to fool. They do not want to fool with us, and like Ty said, they've been colonized with this mindset of like, when white folks come over there, they're bringing them resources. So, in other words, they think they're Jesus and Mary bringing them something, and they see us as something. They see us as the enemy of something, of someone to compete with. They are not trying to. I would say, by and large, they're not trying to do anything that's going to make a connection with us. Hell, I even know a brother who moved to Ghana, and he told me that how they saw him as a money bag. You know, they would always come to him and scam the thing, trying to get money from him and this, that, and whatever. That's just what they do. That's who these people are. They're not. I mean, I understand what Dr. Clark said when he talked about pan-Africanism or parish, but I'm sorry, Dr. Clark. Pan-Africanism is not working for us. These people, they have no inkling of trying to make pan-Africanism work. There was some I think he had a Nigerian, whatever his name was. Anyway, he wasn't one of us. And I think he's a little raggedy ass preacher. And he was on this video talking about, we don't need this, but you are not. And I let him know, you are not one of us. You don't tell us what we need. But they feel, like Ty said, they feel that because they can call themselves black, that they can come in and speak for us. Because there was a lady, oh man, she was ugly as hell. Had that divestment wig on, and she was on this video, just talking about black people being lazy and sorry and this, that, but see now all of a sudden, that there's a bag involved, now they want to be black. Oh no, keep that same damn energy that you had. We're not falling for it, okay? Because if we go over there, they're not talking about giving us anything. You had the, I think Museveni, that Ugandan president, saying that he apologized for slavery and he come out for us to come back home. We at home, bro. We don't have a problem having an interaction with you, but coming home to what? And there are people I found an article whereby, although it was in 2015, but it still happened, where a sister had, I think it might have been Ghana where she was, but she had moved to Africa and she bought some land and built the house, and then a local decided they wanted the house. So she had to take them to court, and she won. And then they killed her. See, this is how they operate. They're not thinking, they don't see us as being this black family. I mean, this broad black family. And a lot of this has to do with these old broke ass Pan-Africans, where they would communicate with these people and go, and some of them would go over there and they talked all this. I understand what's his name, Peter Tosh, when he had that song, no matter where you come from, if you're a black man, you're an African. Oh yeah, that sounds good in theory, but in reality, that doesn't work. And so this is why it is important that we, like Ty said, we take what was given out in that affirmative action ruling, and we make it benefit us. And if we have to go up against these so-called black leaders, these are not leaders. These are just puppets for the government here. And just like what Ty said again, they got this mineral wealth, okay, but yet they're over there broke and starving. This is insane. I mean, yeah, and basically, the same, somewhat of the same thing is going to come. We got our representatives here, but I'll give you an example. You remember when the Haitians tried to come over the border and they were being whipped with these belts or whatever it is they had. Maxine Waters went out there like she's so big and bad and blah, 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 right? So, but then, and she said all these things, but then what happened when Jim Crow Joe packed them up and sent them back to Haiti, which they had not been there for a while, she didn't say a damn thing. So that's
can I give her quote, sir, while you're speaking on her? She said what was happening to them was worse than slavery.
Yes, you're right. She did say that. You're exactly right. She did say that. And how is that worse than slavery? That didn't happen to them that long. See, even people like Maxine Waters, our pain and spread it around to everybody. We got to start going after them too, because they're not doing any good for us, and we have to let them know that you are going to stop including black people from the diaspora, and they can't be mixed in with our experience. Because see, remember now, I've said this before too.
Hey, real quick, original, try to wrap it up in about a minute, okay?
I'm gonna wrap it up. When the BBC did a thing on Afrobeats, and they said that Afrobeats had a black American influence, they went wild saying that we ain't did nothing for them. See, that's how they see us as a competing tribe. They don't see us as brother and sister unless they need something from us. And I'll land with that.
All right, everybody. Thank everybody for coming out tonight to the space. Like I say, tomorrow night we're going to be doing a review of the They Clone Tyrone movie. So definitely make sure y'all come out. We're also going to be talking about the Emmett Till monument that Joe Biden has decided to go ahead and to build or whatever. So we're going to be talking about both of those topics. So definitely come out. The movie, if you guys have not got a chance to catch the movie, they Clone Tyrone, go ahead and check it out, because a lot of stuff in the movie is a lot of stuff is kind of talking about the black community, the situation that we in now, and a lot of things that we may consider to be conspiracy type theories and stuff like that is pretty prevalent in the movie as well too. So definitely come and check that movie out and come to the space, and also be willing to talk about the Emmett Till monument tomorrow as well too. Let me give a shout out to the co-hosts and the speakers, the listeners, everybody who tweeted out the space tonight, guys. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow night, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check us out, everybody in the YouTube. Definitely go ahead and if you have not, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like it, make a comment, share, and everything else, guys. So thank you once again. and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Everybody have a good night.